Hey, happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to Crypto Coin Mindset. I'm Keith. Glad that you're here. Make sure you hit that like button, jump in the live chat. Let's get this thing going. We're going to be talking Bitcoin today. And if you've watched or even checked in on the price of Bitcoin, you know that, guess what? The price of Bitcoin is going up. And as always, I'm here to help you get your mindset on crypto. So make sure that you are helping me to do that by getting in that live chat and asking some questions. I really am looking forward to being able to answer those. As always, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, just some old guy here, okay? But I may know a thing or two about a thing or two, maybe been around the block here or there. Just saying. All right, let's start with this. I figured this is perfect. Good way to start before we go take a look at the price action on CoinGecko in a minute. It might make sense to just get some in case it catches on. If enough people think the same way, that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The words of Satoshi Nakamoto. Infamous words. Maybe not so infamous. But does it not make sense to maybe just have some? Just some. Don't need a lot, right? Just a little bit. Little here, little there. I'm going to have some fun today, folks. I am looking to have some fun. All right. Let's take a look at the price action. I want to look at the markets, and let's get to that. Hang on one second. Pull up CoinGecko here. And matter of fact, let's make it a little bit bigger here so you can see that better. And we're going to refresh that page. So we got the most current prices. Bitcoin has seen a major price move. Major price move. And as CoinGecko is thinking, I'm trying to crush your site. No, come on. Give me the latest information, please. Seriously, right now? Ugh, good Lord, man. Anyway, has seen a major price movement. I mean, we're just on the other, maybe 26.5 yesterday. And then bam, here we go. We're at 28, almost 28.5 right now. And it's been fluctuating up and down just over 28K to start the week here. I'm going to make this full screen so it's a little easier for you to see. I mean, that's huge. Now, everybody calls this Uptober, as we're moving into the last quarter of the year here. And, usually the markets see upward movement. And again, it's something I've talked about. I'm still not of the mindset that this market can't move in a downward direction. And honestly, I think we may still have, just like I said before, a little bit of downward momentum left in this market before we see more upside. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if Bitcoin is able to consolidate in this $28,000 range, because you've got some resistance coming at that 30K range. Because if you recall, 30K was like the floor for a long time. And then once we broke down past that, now it's going to be resistance on our way back up. So we'll see how that plays as we watch the price action in Bitcoin. But before we go into what we're going to talk about with Bitcoin today, let's take a look at Ethereum. Ethereum for the longest time was hovering in that $1,600 range with this pump in the market up over 17. BNB right around that 215 range all the time. We're almost at 220 right now. I don't know if that's going to suffice, but personally, I'm not opposed to BNB, but I know a lot of people fudding out on BNB. XRP holding steady in that 52 range, 52 cent range. And, favorite of this channel, Cardano, 26.8. Honestly, Cardano was up higher than that. It's pulled back just a little bit, but take a look at this. Cardano up almost 10% over the last 7 days. Almost 10%. That's crazy, right? So actually, to me, it's really not that crazy, because honestly, very bullish on Cardano here. I think that Cardano has a lot of upside potential as we move forward into the future of cryptocurrency. Let's check on a little bit more here. Litecoin 67.72. Bitcoin Cash at about 247. Chainlink, I'm a big positive guy about Chainlink, up 8.5% at $7.88. And let's check AVAX, up almost 10% as well in the last 7 days at 966. I don't mind Stellar, so a little XLM, only up about 2% over the last week, staying in that 11-cent range. And finally, we'll hold off here on Monero at about $150, up about 4% over the last week. Not too shabby. Not too shabby as things go. So the market is looking pretty good overall for the start of this week. But what's the future? Wouldn't it be great if we could tell the future? Obviously, there's nobody here going to tell you the future, and even me, I'm giving you my opinion on price action for these different cryptocurrencies that we just went over, and the market in general, saying that I believe that we might have a little bit more downside on the market before we move up. Now, I do really believe by the end of October, we are definitely going to be moving in an upward direction, and that's going to be a slow and steady climb as we move to the halving in like about, that's like what, 6 months out, I think, at this point. So, as far as I see it, the future for Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency space is bright, very bright overall. And to help to show some of that, I want to talk in today's stream about the future of Bitcoin in particular. Again, Bitcoin, the largest asset in the crypto space. It holds just about half of the total cryptocurrency market cap in that particular asset. Okay, Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is the one that is you see in the news all the time. When the price action happens, that's what you see. You see, Bitcoin being touted on the mainstream media, blah, 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 talking head shows. And Kramer, let's not forget him. You got to do the inverse Kramer. He's saying, get out, it's time to get in. He's saying, get in, maybe it's time to think about selling off a little bit of profit. He is just the worst indicator when it comes to the cryptocurrency market. It's like scary sad. So yeah, consider all of that when you're talking about what you're thinking to do in the cryptocurrency space. But overall, my premise is Bitcoin, as we're going to be talking about today primarily, has a bright future ahead of it, and is starting to negate a lot of the FUD that's been thrown at it and the negativity that's been thrown at it, and has learned to, or has grown in spite of all of that, has grown in spite of all of it. And well, let's take a look at some of that. Okay. First off, let's take a look at the way, yeah, I'm sorry. There it is. This was put out by the Bitcoin Energy Standard. I liked it, so I thought it was something that we should definitely be showing in today's live stream. So let's take a look at this. Over the past decade, Bitcoin has consistently outperformed traditional fiat currencies. That is true. We showed that, I believe, in my last live stream. As a matter of fact, if you're new to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button like this video, click the bell icon, click the all. That way you get notified every time we go live. Right now, I go live every Monday and Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern, and every Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern for Crypto on the Rocks. Crypto on the Rocks, you can bring your own beverage. I bring you on the live stream and we talk crypto. And we had TCB, Tiny Crypto Blog, Brian from Tiny Crypto Blog last Friday, as well as my staple buddy Philip. And we were in talking about crypto, and we were talking about doing some investing every Friday and letting the people on the live stream pick the investments. But I'm not going to get into that now. That's for the Crypto on the Rocks this coming Friday. So make sure you're tuning in for that this coming Friday. Right now, though, let's go ahead and take a look at how the Bitcoin Energy Standard has basically broken this down. So they show you fiat currency here. So here you are, and if you need to get money to people or businesses over here, you got to go through all of these different intermediaries in order to move that money. Obviously, you have your money, your fiat in your bank, credit union, whatever it happens to be, right? And then in order to move that, you need to use an intermediary, a credit card, in this case, Venmo. A lot of people use Venmo, PayPal, Western Union, good Lord. We put on about MoneyGram and Stellar, the partnership going on with that in the last live stream. So if you haven't seen that, go ahead and check it out. But the fees with Western Union and MoneyGram are just astronomical, and unnecessary. And we're going to look at that as we look at the Bitcoin down below. So what does that do when you take your money out of your bank via one of these intermediaries? You're ending up sending it to their bank in order for them to, whether it's a person, for them to have the money, or for a business, so you can get the good or service that they are trying to provide you. That's what you're trying to get. So there are several steps in the process of fiat currency. Bitcoin was developed to be and is just about the perfect peer-to-peer, P2P monetary system. You literally take it out of your wallet, send it through a decentralized network of users over to what other person or business it is that you're trying to send that money to, for fractions of the amount of money it costs you to use some of these other services, especially stuff like Western Union. Come on. It's crazy how expensive Western Union is. But again, this isn't about Western Union. This is about Bitcoin. So once you understand that you can send basically any amount of money to anybody at the press of a button on your phone or laptop, whatever wallet you're choosing to use. And I suggest you do a self-custody wallet. My new favorite self-custody wallet, Tangem. And I've got another video coming out this week about a new Tangem wallet that they're putting out. Very excited about the things going on with Tangem. So stay tuned for that video. It's going to drop later this week. But once you can take your wallet and just send your Bitcoin or crypto, whatever the crypto is, from you to whoever it is you're trying to send it to, you need nobody but you. Nobody but you. And that's where you see the power of Bitcoin. And, I know a lot of times in this live stream, I talk a lot US centric. Again, I'm in the US. That's the way I'm looking at things, and I want to talk about what I know. And part of what I know is that in the United States, the regulatory, or lack thereof, environment here with regard to cryptocurrency is horrible. And, this FJB administration is just trying to screw cryptocurrency at every turn. And they do that in many forms. Start with choke point 2.0, and then you're going into things. You got the SEC, Gary Gensler, trying to regulation through enforcement. He's basically suing anything that moves in the cryptocurrency space in order to do what? Pat the coffers of the SEC, obviously, But at the end of the day, it's meant to help stifle the industry here in the United States. Now, as we look at Bitcoin, as we go a little bit further through some of these points I want to bring up about Bitcoin and how it has such a bright future, you got to realize that even though, again, I'm looking at things somewhat through a US centric lens, a very small percentage of the global cryptocurrency activity, or Bitcoin activity for that matter, actually takes place in the United States. I believe something I read earlier this morning was like only 11%. That's nothing. And here's the thing. There are a lot, and we're going to go over some of it shortly, of innovation still trying to take hold here in the United States, regardless of the shitty regulatory environment with regard to cryptocurrency, and the SEC basically trying to like screw anything that moves. Yes, things for those of us in the United States trying to function within the cryptocurrency space are definitely difficult. But this continued toxic environment is basically taking innovation and innovative people, businesses, and moving it to more crypto-friendly countries. Even if you were to consider the EU, they just put out cryptocurrency regulations that are kind of stringent, all things being equal, okay? But even that, as stringent as it may be, is a better environment for cryptocurrency businesses or those operating within the cryptocurrency space, because at least now, at least for them and anyone operating under that umbrella in the EU, they now have regulatory clarity. And that's a necessity. And I'm not trying to get off topic here too far with regard to regulations. So I'm gonna slowly bring this back to what we're supposed to be talking about, which is Bitcoin. And it's what I'm sorry, just is its bright future. So and here we go. Let's bring up the next the next page I have you, which is a tweet from Michael Saylor, where he's basically saying, hey, look, we're winning. Bitcoin is winning. And he brings out the performance since August of 2020 between all these different classes. And Bitcoin since August of 2020, 122% in that direction. Upward. Wonder why. Finite supply, trustless, completely auditable and open source, unlike anything that comes close to a fiat currency. Just saying. One of the handful of things, or those are just a handful of the reasons why Bitcoin, positive, bright future. But let's look at some of the other things that he highlights here. The S&P 500 in that same time frame, up 28%. Well, at least it's up. But as far as the S&P 500 is concerned, I mean, come on now. We know that that is artificial at best, because how can you have such a high inflationary and arguably recessionary environment? Because the only reason we're not in a recession is because they keep changing the definition of recession. Okay. Anyway, again, not trying to get down that regulatory hole. But then you've got stocks performing at up 28%. NASDAQ, same thing. Again, they're both positive, although Bitcoin kicks their ass left, right, and center, right? I mean, chart pretty much highlights it all right there. But again, those other two are, I'm sorry, though, that's their faults. They're faults. All right, let's look at gold over the same time frame. According to his chart here, down 9%. Unfortunately, the global elites have a stranglehold on the price of gold, but let's not get me going with that. Silver down 18% and bonds down 20%. At the end of the day, Bitcoin is definitely got some positive things going on with regard to price action. And I should probably talk about that for a second. Bitcoin, like I said, most of us got into Bitcoin for the money. Saw an ability, a possibility to get those major gains that you hear about in the cryptocurrency space every single day, right? And while that is a hallmark, although I think it's a slowly we're going to see less and less of that type of hallmark movement as Bitcoin continues to increase in price and then stabilize ultimately. It's not just about the price. It's not just about the price action. There is so much more to Bitcoin. And again, some of the stuff we're going to touch on, because the FUD articles, the hit pieces, the FUD that they keep throwing against Bitcoin in the cryptocurrency space is just, I don't know. It's a false narrative. And unfortunately, for those of us who operate in this space every day, I mean, I am in this every day. And I try to take what information I learn and get that back out to you. Again, live streams like this, Mondays and Wednesdays here on this channel, and then videos at least once a week. And I'd like to throw a short out there every once in a while as well. And that's to try and just educate people who are either completely unfamiliar with the space, the cryptocurrency space, and Bitcoin in this case in particular, or to re-educate people who may have got in because, Doge is going to the moon, and next thing you know, there goes Doge or Sheeb or whatever other coin. And I'm not picking on either one of those, but those are the type of coins that people get into, type of crypto that people get into, looking for the moon, some pump and dump, and woo, next thing you know, you're a millionaire. Well, can that happen? Well, in any space, any kind of financial space, I guess the cryptocurrency space is the one that could happen in most frequently. However, it's not just about the price. Yes, you should take profits. Yes, you have to be cognizant of when to invest and so on and so forth, which is why for people that are probably watching this live stream, who will watch this live stream after the fact, once it's done, it's probably a DCA thing. A dollar cost, wow, spit that out 5 times fast, right? A dollar cost averaging tact to take in order to invest in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And, that's a steady amount, a certain amount, a steady amount in a consistent time frame. Okay, that's all dollar cost averaging is. And it's for people who don't have large sums of money to be putting in, it's a viable investment strategy. Okay, so as we see, sorry, my mouse has decided it's going to freeze. Again, Michael Saylor pointing out the fact here that Bitcoin is winning the day. Bitcoin's winning the day. And I was just talking a moment ago about the United States basically losing its edge and its ability to be the leader in the technological space and so on. And here's kind of more proof of that. This is put out by Bitcoin News, that Bitcoin meetups in Germany are organized, efficient, and thriving. And take a look at this. They did kind of like a little heat map with all of the, look at that. Well, I could tell you to look at that, but it'd probably be better than looking at my ugly mug here. Let me make that. Let me make that a little bit bigger for you to see. All right. I mean, that is a lot of meetups. Now, I know, again, Germany, not the United States, where I've been US centric most of the time. But to me, it kind of proves the point that there are other countries, other places that are much more crypto friendly and Bitcoin friendly. I mean, again, look at El Salvador. They have made all kinds of headway since taking Bitcoin as legal tender in that country a couple of years ago. They've increased their bond ratings. They've done so much with regard to the infrastructure for the citizens of the country, and they're now changing the regulatory status for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency to incentivize people to go there, develop, and build businesses to further help their economy and their infrastructure. And again, I happened to pick this one out because I thought it was like, as soon as I saw this heat map with regard to Germany and these meetups, I mean, we talk about meetups and conferences and stuff like that here in the United States, and there are a bunch, and they're constantly increasing. That's true. But to me, this was like so telling. People here in these areas are all about it, obviously. All about it. You go ahead and meet up, talk crypto with like-minded individuals, and this is where things grow. And they might be starting out and even maintain a somewhat grassroots level of functionality, right? But guess what? That's also how they grow. That's how, people talking about Bitcoin or whatever. Next thing you know, it's, bam, hey, what about this for a business idea? Or, what about that? Wait, maybe we can improve the infrastructure by doing this. These are the places, these are the ground floor of these kind of innovations and these kind of ideas being spawned. And they're happening, again, outside of the United States, to the dismay of people like myself who are trying to educate people about this from the perspective of being in the United States. But not only, John Q. Public here, the average guy, but politicians, the people who have and are trying to influence the industry through regulation. And I am not a humongous proponent of cryptocurrency regulations. I'm more libertarian in my ideals with regard to Bitcoin, its use cases, and so on. Excuse me. But I do concede the fact that given the current traditional finance system, etc., that the need is there in some way, shape, or form to need and have functional, fair cryptocurrency regulation for whatever jurisdiction it is that you live in or operate in if you're a business. Unfortunately, places like here, well, fortunately for them, unfortunately for us, are leading the way. And you know what? Maybe it's a good thing. Money goes where it's treated best. In this case, Bitcoin and cryptocurrency go where it's treated best. And again, in these type of environments, Bitcoin has a huge, huge, huge future. That's just bright. Just is. All right. Let's talk about this now. Well, I'm going to try to bring it US centric for a second, at least. I can't be completely outside of the realm here. And we're going to talk about a nuclear power plant that is mining Bitcoin. And if I can get this screen to work here we go. So the first nuclear-powered Bitcoin mining plant in the US uses 91% zero carbon energy. What is one of the biggest arguments about Bitcoin? Its negative impact on the environment, right? Now, as much as we know that it's end of the day, that's not true. We still will see the hit pieces about that. We'll still see the negative articles and videos and all this other baloney with regard to Bitcoin and its negative impact on the environment. So when you can find things like this, and this isn't all, I mean, I just happened to come across this, and I'm gonna look at a different screen in 1 second here. But when you can show these things to the public and be able to say, look, 91% carbon-free energy being utilized. And then you can be saying stuff like, guess what? Bitcoin helps to firm up the existing power grid. I'll tell you what, people have some major difficulty wrapping their head around that. And I don't get the why, frankly. I really don't. When you actually see it in action, it's like, kind of amazing to see. Now, this power plant right here, the immersion cooled Bitcoin mine, is powered by nuclear and solar energy in Norcross, Georgia. The computers are submerged in a liquid of synthetic oil and with no electrical conductivity to help cool and increase energy efficiency. And I'm just going to scroll down a little bit, so as the video is kind of going through here and looping, you'll be able to see that. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me make that full screen to make it a little easier to see. I mean, it's I don't know. It's a thing of beauty. It's a thing of beauty. It's being able to use the technology at hand to help increase the technology being utilized. Because at the end of the day, Bitcoin is a technology. It just is. And this is some of the stuff that, created properly, these mining facilities can help to promote Bitcoin's future in a green way, and in a way that's helped to sustain, like we were talking about in Texas, like the power grid. So these are the innovations that unfortunately are, for the most part, seeping their way outside of the United States, but hopefully we'll be able to bring some of those back. And right here in Georgia, you've got a nuclear power plant utilizing this latest technology to help foster Bitcoin and its mining and growth. Awesome, as far as I'm concerned. Now, there was one other, and again, this is the outside of the United States thing, but it was worthy to me. Again, always talking about green this and green that with regard to Bitcoin mining and so on. So right here, growing tulips with Bitcoin mining. This company in the Netherlands grows flowers using sustainable energy and recycled warmth produced by computers from mining, right? I'd like to actually listen to this video with you. So let me make sure my volume's turned up here, and I'm gonna let this go and let you actually hear this with me. So let's start this. Oh, see, solar panels on the roof.
So all the energy we use for the Bitcoin mining is with solar energy, and we save on the gas use. In essence, we think we are going to save a lot of gas by using this solution for heating our greenhouse.
Yeah, so Bitcoin miners, they produce a lot of heat. So you have a delta of approximately 20 degrees Celsius between the temperature that goes into the miner and that comes out of the miner. And that's because the processors in this computer are constantly trying to guess a random number, and that produces some heat.
And using that heat, that energy to grow flowers. I mean, I get it. There's a lot of other potential uses.
Yeah, so this operation is
but
actually carbon negative,
come on.
as is all the operations I basically built. So we reduce natural gas and we use renewable electricity, which means it's better for the environment. So we're actually improving the environment instead of the other way around.
Which is exactly one of the arguments that the anti-crypto community uses to try and dissuade people from wanting to be involved in cryptocurrency. Oh, it's ruining the planet. Obviously,
some
that's
growers
bullshit.
have decided, because of the increase in gas prices, to stop growing this year and see what happens next year. And in some cases, it led to bankruptcy. Yeah. The most important thing we get out of it is we save on natural gas. That's for us the most important reason to have Bitcoin miners in our greenhouse. And secondly, well, we earn Bitcoin by running them in the greenhouse.
And I mean, come on now. Does that's like perfect win-win scenario for everyone, right? And I mean, again, I realize in this case, it's they're growing flowers. Hey, why not? Who doesn't like flowers, right? But I mean, it's they're taking energy, and this is something I talked about in a live stream. I believe it was last week, and even prior to that. They're basically taking energy that's already being produced, that's going to go to waste, and they're utilizing it. And in this case, they're taking the heat from the Bitcoin miners and reusing that energy to something else that's productive. Does this not seem like something that is positive for the environment overall? I don't know. Maybe I'm just crazy, but it sure does to me. I mean, to me, this is a great use of Bitcoin. This is a great use of Bitcoin mining. It is a great utilization of wasted energy and a great use of energy that is easily translated from what would be this whole mining process into something a lot more positive. Let me bring it together here, because you know what? I think I've made my point. But just in case I haven't, let's bring it together. You know, you've heard me say it here a number of times. I don't think Bitcoin, I'm not a Bitcoin maxi. I believe that there is a place within the financial and future financial ecosystem for different types of cryptocurrency, including and probably led by the revolution being led by Bitcoin. And I see Bitcoin as being the way and the means most likely that people are going to come into and function within the cryptocurrency space. So the more we can take Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining and be able to do the mining more efficiently and use the mining to capture this wasted energy or already produced energy, such as, again, natural gas. They're flaring off the gas. You take a whole Bitcoin mining farm, bring it right there, access that and utilize it as energy. Or in the case that we just saw here, they got a whole Bitcoin mining farm. They're earning Bitcoin, so they're earning their keep, if you would, and helping to secure the Bitcoin blockchain and the infrastructure, the decentralized blockchain. And they're taking the heat from that Bitcoin or those Bitcoin miners, funneling it along with solar power into their greenhouse and growing tulips. Again, a bright, bright, bright future, I think, for Bitcoin. And for those of us who are able to see that and understand it and decide to be a part of it, I say we're going to go along with that bright future as well. So help me to help others learn about cryptocurrency. Make sure if you're new here, you hit that subscribe button. Click the bell icon, click the all. That way you get notified every time I go live and or I put out a great video. And it will help to grow my channel. I'm looking to hit that 1,000 subscriber mark so I can keep growing this information and putting it out to people in order to help them understand more about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So I appreciate you helping me do that. Also, a reminder, live Monday, Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern, different topics. So Wednesday coming up 10 a.m. Make sure, mark your calendar. If you already got the subscribe and all ticked on the account here, guess what? You're going to get notified when I go live. And Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Eastern for Crypto on the Rocks. I love Crypto on the Rocks. It's a great way to bring in the weekend. Have a drink, whatever your favorite beverage is. Again, usually for me, it's some alcohol or whatever. But doesn't have to be, can be whatever. Hey, 2 weeks ago, I was doing A&W root beer, baby. Yeah. So, but Crypto on the Rocks, 7 p.m. Eastern time every Friday. I bring you on and we talk crypto. Doesn't matter what. Like I said, I have Brian from Tiny Crypto Blog here. We were talking about Fold, the Fold app. Not something I've got a lot of experience in. So I let him tell everybody about it. You know, and then Philip and I were talking about doing some investments. So make sure you join in on Friday because whoever's on the live stream is going to be able to pick out of a group of cryptos which one we invest in. And we're going to keep track of it and see and show that by DCAing just a small amount, I think we're going to do it. What's going to end up being a total of $25 every week. You can change the trajectory of your life, your family's life, and anyone around you who's looking to do the same thing. So help me to get that out there. I really appreciate it. That's going to do it. I got my point across. If the bottom line is Bitcoin has a bright future. And for those of us who want to be involved with Bitcoin, the future comes with us. I hope you're going to be here joining my journey with regard to that. All right. You take care. I'll see you Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern.